Okay, we're officially live. Borough Sound, DJ Czar, aka Big Shawarma, aka Georgia Czar. Here with my second live stream, joined by the one and only M.
Yeah, that's me.
Now, okay, obviously, like I'm not famous, and M actually. Okay, this is how M came onto my map, onto the radar. So you had two viral clips that I seen. You had clip of apartment 200, which I believe. Let me just pull that up here.
God.
Okay, so I got this live. All right, we're gonna do a little live reaction.
Perfect.
Yo, Farrell. Okay, I know I should have interrupted, but bro, when I searched on Farrell, resembling a wild animal. So you're saying these people are essentially uncivilized beasts, is what you're saying?
No, you know what? When I say things, I don't typically Google the meaning, so
It's not that deep.
it's not. It was
But
really just a
Farrell's
funny
an
name.
accusation, though. Nah, it is a funny word because honestly, I thought it was so funny that you said Farrell because I've been to apartment 200 before, and I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about. So I'm gonna just let the clip play.
Let it roll.
Yo, oh my goodness. So, yo, you honestly hit the nail on the head here.
I thought
And
so.
I wanted to know, one, did anyone from apartment 200 follow up with this video? Because you kind of went viral with it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so I have had okay, first off, I've had multiple DJs invite me to host a Monday at apartment 200, so that's kind of in the works right now. And I don't know if you've seen the remix of my voice being mixed into a song for the Mondays.
At the drop.
Yeah, so that's been a thing. Apartment 200 itself hasn't reached out, but the DJs have, which has been really funny. I've had a lot of people, you know what? I find with this clip because again, like it's all fun and games. I have an opinion on apartment 200. I don't hate anybody. It's literally just my opinion. It's not that deep, but I find some people were really trying they either appreciated this so much or they were really trying to come for my throat. Listen, I don't yes, I work for BlogTO. Yes, I do so and so, but I don't have to like everywhere that I go. And unfortunately, this just isn't a spot for me. If you love it, amazing. But maybe I need to go on a Monday clearly to see what the hype is about.
Okay, that's fair. I did want to mention that, yeah, so you do work for BlogTO. I did want to add that when I saw your social media aesthetic, I was like, yo, I need to hire this girl as my kind of social media manager because I feel like the color scheme and everything is perfect. Like, I've always struggled with that because I feel like a strong Instagram aesthetic is really powerful, especially when you're in like the content creation space. So how did you kind of develop that sense of aesthetic and like social media savviness? How'd you even get involved with BlogTO to begin with?
Okay, so for the first part of aesthetics and Instagram, I don't have a game plan. I just post what I want to post. If it looks good, beautiful, but I'm not the type to sit there and think, "Oh, does this look good in my feed?" No. If I want to post something, I'm going to post it. So if it looks good, amazing. As for getting started with BlogTO, so I went to a friend's going away party in the summer of 2022 and we were all talking. I was sitting next to this guy and he said, "Hey, you seem really cool. You have an outgoing personality. Do you want to work for BlogTO?" Obviously, I'm like, "Whoa, first of all, you're joking." But obviously, yes. So from the summer of 2022 until about spring 2023, I was freelancing with BlogTO, and then I got hired full time in August as their social media specialist. So I've been there for quite a bit now, which has been really cool.
That's awesome. And prior to that, did you have some sort of like educational background or experience in social media, or this was kind of what got you into it, was the actual opportunity itself?
Yeah, so no prior experience. So prior to my job at BlogTO, I was a manager at an addictions facility. So I was strictly in healthcare. I was dealing with patients who have opiate addiction, alcohol addiction, benzo addiction, fully in healthcare. I was a social worker, no prior experience. So haha, I don't use any of my degrees. Here I am. But yeah, totally new, totally different for me. So
Okay, I expanded the screen so I could like catch a bit of your dog there because I feel like I seen a
oh,
little tail wagging.
yeah, I don't, she's like gonna destroy my bed. Let's see. Oh, or she's having a nap. That's so cute.
Aww.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Every time I see a dog, I have to fight off the urge to say, "Hey, buddy." Like it's actually difficult for me. I was
Well,
about to say
see,
it now, but I realize she
well, see,
probably might not hear me.
here, come here. Look, sis, come here. She's so done with me today. I swear.
Yeah, she ain't trying to play. She's like, I know you were just on the patios.
Yeah, she's mad at me. So, but that's my puppy.
Okay. And okay. What I did like about, seeing your content was like you have a very honest way to communicate with your audience. And another thing that I wanted to ask you about, because you're an honest person, you know what I'm saying? I feel like you're also kind of like professional and like I wouldn't say like politically correct, but like, you're not gonna say some wild stuff. But I found out you're a Matee, right? On
Yeah,
your IG. Okay.
yeah,
So I recently started stand-up comedy and I wrote this joke about how I always felt like the land acknowledgements weren't genuine because when you like apply the thinking to like other things, it doesn't make sense. Like if I called someone and they're like, yo, before you say anything, like I stole this phone from Elijah. And then you're like, okay, like you stole it from Elijah. It's like, yeah. So are you gonna give the phone back? It's like, nah, I just had to acknowledge it. Like
yeah.
how does the native community, the Métis community, I don't even know if they want to be called is indigenous. Am I saying the wrong word? Like, how do
Indig-
they feel about land indigenous better?
Indigenous is all encompassing. So yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna say indigenous. Okay. With indigenous. All right. So how do you feel? And I know you don't represent the entire indigenous community, but how do they feel about land acknowledgements? Do they feel like it's a step in the right direction, or does it feel like kind of like a backhanded compliment?
You know what? I feel like it depends, first off, where the land acknowledgement is and who's presenting it. Because at the same time, it's respectful, it's a thing, and they're not the people who stole the land in the beginning. So it's kind of like they're apologizing for something that they didn't do. But sometimes it's a little much. Like when you're in class and you're about to write an exam and they're telling you about, oh, I'm so sorry, this isn't our land. It's kind of like, okay, I understand, but like, let me write my exam and we can talk about this another time. I feel like there's some situations where it's a little much.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And this is coming from you as an indigenous person. When do you remember when they first started doing the land acknowledgements? Like, were you thrown off, or did they like give y'all a heads up, like, yo, we're about to start doing this next year?
No, you know what? It was so I'm 27. I'm going to be 27 this year. So in high school, it was never a thing. The beginning of college, it wasn't really a thing, but then all of a sudden in the middle of college, all of my professors would just be like, listen, we want to start this class off by saying that like we're on this land and these people. And I'm sitting there like, "Oh, like that's really nice, but like who's paying you to say this?" Um
Hmm.
And like again, in some instances, like if you're, in Mississauga or like down by the water and you're like on sacred land, 100% warranted. I understand. But if I'm sitting in my classroom, because that's kind of the only reference I have for this, or if I'm just doing something random and you're giving me a land acknowledgement, it doesn't feel that genuine to me, personally. But that's just like my take on that.
That is my take too. Even as a non-indigenous person, I feel the same way. because I remember I got hired by TD. They did this like they're the downtown corporate heart of indigenous land. You know what I'm saying? Like they are there, billions of dollars. So, we're there. They're giving us donuts, muffins, lots of breakfast. You know what I'm saying? While a lot of indigenous people are like, hacking darts for breakfast.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So they start the PowerPoint with the land acknowledgement, and then they just kept going. And I'm like, dude, like that doesn't solve anything. Like, if anything, you're trying to seem like a good person. You know what I'm
It's like a
saying?
Band-Aid.
Yeah, it's a band-aid, but it's like, it just feels fake because it's like, I don't know if you know who you stole from, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you give it back. I don't know,
It's
but
weird. It's very weird.
yeah, but shout out the indigenous. I rock with the cause. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is y'all land, bro. I'm grateful to be here. But with that being, I do want to ask another indigenous related question. We all know about the indigenous identification card and what comes with that. You know what I'm saying? I've worked in retail and customer service, so sometimes we'd have to like punch in a special code to avoid, to remove the taxes, right?
Yeah.
So do you get that too at MT, or is it like
No.
a certain percentage? You don't?
Listen, this whole thing is so incredibly messy. So, unless you're part of a specific treaty and a specific band number, the government doesn't recognize you as tax exempt. So, for the Métis community wasn't actually recognized as a real Indigenous community until way later, and then they were included as an afterthought in the Indian Act. So Métis people, we get a nice card that says, "Hey, I'm Métis." But clearing the accusations right now, no free schooling, no money, no tax exempt for everybody. There is literally no benefit other than being part of the registry to say that you have this identity. Like, it's not for every indigenous person. It's just a very small percentage that have the tax exempt.
Interesting. That is a super misconception, because I assume that even if you had like a little bit, you got the card, the tax exemption.
No, I have my citizenship card, but it's just there to say that I am like registered, but there's literally nothing that I get. Yeah.
But okay, can a Métis individual, I guess, be a part of a tribe or a band? Like, or is that something that is only assigned at birth, or can a Métis person locate their indigenous roots and then get the tax exemption from there?
No. So Métis is a very specific group of people from Red River, Saskatchewan. So what differentiates Métis people from other Indigenous people is that we have our own language and our own culture. So Métis people are very specific to a very specific region, almost like their own tribe, if you will. So, like Métis people can originate from Mi'kmaq, they can originate from Cree, Ojibwe, but it's its own thing. The band number and the tribe comes from mostly First Nation, which is a different group of Indigenous people.
Okay, yeah. So I always thought, 'cause I thought Métis was just a general like identifying term to like anyone who's mixed with any sort of indigenous and I guess French or British, or is it French,
No,
right?
so this is where a
Or
lot of
English,
people
it can
get
be any.
so this is where a lot of people get confused. So you can be half Native and half British. You are not Métis. You are half Native and half
Mm.
British. So the difference is
Ooh.
with Métis is your origins are very specific to a group in Saskatchewan. It's a very specific settlement. So like my mom is
Mm.
Métis, so I'm Métis and Irish. I'm not Native and Irish, I'm Métis and Irish.
Oh.
So it's very specific. Like,
Okay, so I have a question. So you're Métis and Irish, correct? And then your mother was Métis. So would that mean that your mother was 50% indigenous, 50% French, or was it like her parents also Métis, so her parents were also mixed, and then her parents were also mixed, or was it like a 50-50? You have to be a 50-50 split.
So this is the other fun
So
thing
I'm very interested in this. I'm
Um,
sorry, I guess I'm
so no
super
need to be
super curious.
sorry. So in indigenous culture, so blood quantum, there is no 50-50, there's no 70-30, there's no 20-80. You are what you are, but the origin stems from the specific fur trade where English, either French or Scottish men, because there's different types of Métis. So you're either French Métis or Scottish Métis. They got with indigenous women. When the fur traders got with the indigenous women, that is now Métis, and they formed their own community. So my seventh generation grandma married a fur trader, a very well-known fur trader, John Baptiste. So he was very well known. They got together, and that's when the community started. So I guess down my lineage, my grandparents were Métis, but there's no like percentages going on. Like when I get married and have kids, like my kids will be Métis.
Okay. That's interesting. Wait, John Baptiste, like, no, it's not John Baptiste Lamarck, right?
No, John Baptiste Sylvester is my great grandfather.
He sounds like a name you would find in like a social studies book.
Oh, he was. I can send you an article. He was one of the most well-known fur traders that I have ties to.
No way. Okay,
Yeah.
this is what I wanted to ask. So you know how, like, let's take early American slavery for example. So if you had a half black, half white child, right? They were still considered black, but they might get certain type of advantages or privileges a full black person wouldn't get, and sometimes that would create some type of tension between like the two groups, like full black versus like half black. Is it similar in indigenous culture with the indigenous and I guess the Métis? I know Métis are indigenous, but like the full indigenous.
So I haven't experienced it personally. Like when I find, because I only really reconnected with my culture about 2 years ago. But I find when I'm at the events, everybody's super welcoming, nobody's disrespectful, everybody, recognizes me as Indigenous. But I have heard from my Indigenous friends that some people aren't as accepting as Métis as an Indigenous culture, even though we are one of the three recognized Indigenous, groups in Canada. But again, I think it's about breaking the stigma against what an Indigenous person looks like. You close your eyes, you think of an Indigenous person, you're probably thinking of tan skin, black hair, really strong features. But I think as we go on, and especially with my generation of people, we're really breaking down that stereotype of what an Indigenous person is. And for a long time, I didn't feel comfortable in these spaces because look at me. I have blonde hair. I have blue eyes. I'm very unsuspecting. But I feel like as time goes on, people who look like me are taking space in Indigenous spaces and people are more accepting of it. But there definitely, I think, in the past has been kind of like a weird dichotomy of like, do you belong here? I just haven't experienced it, thankfully, but yeah.
Okay. I really feel like when I speak with you, because I'm technically I'm an immigrant, but I came here when I was two. My parents are also immigrants. So we always, like, even me and my friends, who most of us are all immigrants, right? We always discuss what Canadian identity is, what Canadian heritage is truly, because we've it seems, at least in Southern Ontario and like other metropolitan areas, we've based our identity largely on cultural pluralism and multiculturalism and, accepting of everyone. But when I speak with you, I feel like I'm actually speaking with, I guess, a true Canadian in the origin sense. So do you feel a sense of, I guess, like a relationship with the land and the nation that perhaps you'd be able to identify what it means to be truly Canadian because you're truly from here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like yes and no. Like I feel like yes in the sense that I feel very connected to nature and I feel very connected to the land. But I feel like in the modern day society, that's been kind of harder to like navigate. But I guess the best way I can say that I've been navigating it is like through my
Mhm.
intuition. Like I have a very strong intuition. I feel very strongly towards nature and like all living things. I have care and respect for everything that lives, trees, plants, bugs, whatever it be. So I feel like that's kind of my take on it. But I just feel like being in such a populated area as Toronto
Mm.
is, it's a little bit harder to
Mm.
kind of like connect with nature in that sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So I
I feel you because when I'm mhm.
no,
Sorry.
yeah, I think that's no,
Go
you're
ahead, go
it's
ahead,
okay.
go ahead. Nah,
Yeah,
it's
I
up to
just
you.
feel
Yeah.
it's harder to like I feel the sense of being a real Canadian is almost just like being one with nature and just kind of respecting all living things no matter how big or small. Um I feel kind of like that's what it boils down to at the end of the day, like treating all things with respect and kindness.
Mhm. Okay. I like that. I feel like us, like newer generation of Canadians who just came here within even the last 50 years or 100 years, we tend to, benefit from what Canada has to offer, but we're not really taught the history of this nation in a way that is ingrained in everyone. Like when you go to other countries, everyone knows the history of the country because like it's a sense of pride. But I think because Canada has a bit of a shameful past with how they dealt with the indigenous, they try to downplay it and tokenize it and trivialize it. How do you think Canadians who benefit from being on this land, benefit from the country that has been established, can make an active effort into, connecting or corresponding with the original inhabitants and the original culture and history of Canada?
Honestly, I feel like just educating yourself and being aware that, Canada has a very messy history with Indigenous people, and just recognizing that there's still so much to be done in regards to reconciling and, fixing the relationship with Indigenous people. And I think, too, a big step in it is coming at it from a
Mhm.
perspective of curiosity rather than, attacking or being very hostile because again, in my personal experience, I get a lot of questions of, um, just based on my appearance. Well, where's your status card? Are you valid? Like, why do you get a say in this? And I think just coming from a place of, again, curiosity and understanding rather than, I guess, kind like being, shifty or whatever, just coming in with an open heart and an open mind and learning about the true history of Canada and its indigenous people, it'll go a long way, honestly.
You kind of cut off there. I didn't hear the last thing you said. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I think just like coming in with an open mind and an open heart when it comes to learning about Canada's history with indigenous
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
will it'll bring you so far. So,
But the thing is, I'm not trying to just read a book. Like, I'm trying to pull up to like a reserve. Like, I'm trying to really like be hands on and like learn and like sit with the people and stuff. But like, I wouldn't know where to start. You know what I'm saying? I also feel like I don't know how I'd be received if I was just like, yo, I really want to learn about you guys. Like that kind of,
oh,
like, it's kind of a bad start, you know?
what I will say, so in the summertime, there's a bunch of powwows. Powwows are welcome for everybody. And I feel like that's a really great chance for people outside of the community to experience Indigenous culture. There's dancing, there's singing, there's food, there's artwork,
Mhm.
there's vendors, literally everything of Indigenous culture in one spot. And everyone's welcome to a powwow. So roll up, come join us. It's great.
Mhm. I'm pulling up.
Pull up, do it. It's a
Hello?
powwow is
Yo, my
truly
Wi-Fi is trash right now. Hello? I'm pulling
hi.
up. I'm pulling up.
Pull up to the powwow. So National Truth and Reconciliation Day is September 30th. There's a big powwow at Dufferin Park every year, and there's also a powwow at Regent Park in August, and it's a great time. So if you're wanting to learn more about Indigenous culture, highly encouraged to come on down and see what we're all about.
Can I pull up like with you or something? I feel like I need to be with someone who's already in that world. You know what I'm saying? Like just to know what to do and stuff.
So you can. So with me, I also have my own business. So I vend at these powwows. So I sell like traditional beadwork and whatnot. But you can pull up to my booth.
Ooh. Yes.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay.
I'll be selling my
If you
beaded
need a
things.
volunteer, like I got you.
You
Okay.
know what? Amazing.
Okay. Okay. But I mean, I'm not I'm not just gonna I'm not just gonna hang out with you at the booth the whole time though. I gotta partake in the powwow, right? Or
Absolutely. Get your sidestep in, go eat some Indian tacos. Like
I
it's
don't
all
know what
good.
I just want to know what to do in that situation.
You just vibe. It's all vibes.
Just vibe.
Just vibes. You just vibe, you dance, the sun is
Okay.
shining. It's amazing.
I feel like I need a little more info, but I'm down to go. I'm down to go. And
You
I
know
wanted to
what? When
pull
the
this up
time
right
comes, I'll
here.
send you the flyer. Oh
So
yeah, that's my ancestor.
so this is your ancestor, right?
Yeah.
That's
So
crazy. Yo,
I
that's
don't remember
lit.
it's either his mother or his partner. During the migration, she fell off the boat and drowned. Very sad. But he kept the fur trade alive, and he migrated from Drummond Island to Penetanguishene because I'm originally from like Midland, Ontario. And this is like my settlement, so I'm part
Hmm.
of the voyageurs. So they took the boat from Drummond Island to Penetanguishene.
Yo, your what would you consider him like a great great grandpa? Is he like an
Yeah,
ancestor, I guess? I guess you
yeah,
would
great,
say.
great. I think
Yo,
7th great grandpa.
he has a sick beard. I just want
Listen,
to let
I
you know
know. It's
that
amazing,
that is a yeah, that is an impressive beard.
isn't
I
it?
like I can only hope. So yeah, he says it here. My mother's maiden name was Angelique McKay, a half-breed woman of Scotch descent,
Mhm.
whom my father married at Mackinac, where she was drowned when I was about 2 years old, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Just before Mackinac was given up to the Yankees, which is Americans, my
Mhm.
mother left in a small civil with a company of young people to visit Manitoulin Island. That's so interesting. Like I paid for ancestry.ca to try to find something like this about my ancestors, and it did not exist.
Oh,
So this
no.
is so cool. And this guy wrote down everything. This guy wrote down his whole life.
Yeah, he was one of the
He's a
most,
guy.
influential people of the fur trade, so it's pretty cool.
That is awesome. How's okay? I'm not gonna lie. Like I recently, I smoke darts, right?
Okay.
So I just want to, yeah. So I smoke darts, and I always used to see the native darts. You know, the native darts are
Everybody
different
does.
than
You
like
get
the
them in a
Pall Mall
plastic
Smooths and the
bag.
Belmont.
Yeah.
Bro, I got two here right now. You know what I'm saying? This is from like a medicine wheel, though. But I wanted to know about, or I know you said you recently reconnected with your Indigenous heritage, but I wanted to know about relationship between Indigenous people and tobacco, and if you know about it, because I know that a big part of colonization, I think, was like they were loving the tobacco and they're like, we need more of this, you know, and like
Yeah.
they kind of got low-key, the world kind of got introduced to tobacco from y'all.
Yeah, so tobacco is one of our 4 sacred medicines, so in Indigenous culture, smoke is medicine, hence the tobacco and the smoking of the tobacco, so it was like a big thing.
Oh my, that's amazing. Yo, I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that sentiment. And I noticed the darts that the native darts or okay, the indigenous darts, sorry. They're not as like I don't think they have as many chemicals as like the British ones or the American ones.
No,
They're
it's cheaper
relatively cheap. Like they're
tobacco.
actually way cheaper. Okay. So like do you feel like you have to smoke darts?
No. So personally, I don't smoke darts.
Is it like a cultural practice?
I don't smoke tobacco, but I do have like tobacco, sage, cedar, sweetgrass, and like I'll burn it around my apartment just for like the cleansing aspect, but I don't smoke it.
Mhm. So wait,
Yeah.
what are the other four medicines? So you said tobacco was one of the four medicines. What are the other three?
So there's tobacco, sweetgrass, cedar, and sage.
Oh, okay, the four you listed. Okay, okay, interesting. Okay, so weed's not really on that.
No, unfortunately, it's not.
But is there has there been like utilization of weed in indigenous practices or rituals, or y'all mostly stick to the big four?
Mostly the big four. Like again, growing up, I wasn't really like I knew I was native, but growing up, like I wasn't really as engaged in my community as I would like to have been. Um, but like now that I've kind of reintroduced myself, it's interesting because obviously there's a lot of substance use in the indigenous community just because of like intergenerational trauma, lack of resources and whatnot. So a lot of events and stuff that you go to are sober events, like powwows. There's no weed, there's no
Hmm.
alcohol. Um, so the four medicines, I feel like, is just a really big part of the healing. Like we don't really, or from the people that I've spoken to, again, I can't speak for everybody, but the people that I've spoken to aren't really into like substances like that.
Hmm. Okay, that is mad interesting. I always felt like because even like in the Middle East, like nicotine and tobacco, it's like a huge thing, like shisha and all this
Mhm.
stuff. And I know that I guess there can be harm in consuming tobacco in certain ways, like I guess with a lot of chemicals and stuff. But I always felt like the purest natural form of like tobacco or like with anything with nicotine isn't bad for you per se. You know, it's more like when they try to add chemicals to it or when you're consuming it in certain ways that it becomes harmful. But I think the plant itself is like really, really good.
Yeah, and that's like kind of our take too on tobacco. Like pure tobacco is very healing, and smoke in that essence is very healing.
Okay, so do you feel like should I just keep smoking the native darts or do you think I should just hit tobacco out of a pipe?
You know what? Support local, smoke the native darts, get the plastic bag full of them. You're good to go.
Okay, okay, good to know. I know I don't have you here forever. So there's another thing that I'm gonna show the audience and you the second video that put me onto you,
Oh
which
yeah.
was this one right here. All right. Full frontal.
So I'm getting a
I
leg.
like I like some of the you're getting what?
I'm getting a leg cramp. I need to stand up for like 2 seconds. Oh.
Like, yeah, go ahead.
Ah. Oh my god. Okay.
Do you usually get leg cramps, or is this like a today thing?
It's a today thing because I had like wine and then an Aperol spritz. I don't think I drank enough water. But we're good now. You know
Oh,
when you get
okay,
like a
okay.
Charlie horse, like a calf cramp?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do. It's kind of like a Charlie horse almost, but
Ugh,
lower.
yeah, but I
Okay,
stood up,
so
it's
a lot
gone.
of the comments are only, pardon me?
Oh no, we're good. My cramp is gone.
Are you sure your leg's okay? Because
I listen, I walked like 3 steps. We're good now.
okay, you let me know if you have another cramp. We could take a break.
Okay. I'm okay, I'll let you know.
um, a lot of people are saying hard launch or nothing, hard launch or nothing. I I don't know. I don't know about hard launches anymore at this age. I feel like back in the day, uh, I was a big hard launch person, but I wouldn't start with a post. You got to go story first with a hard launch, in my opinion. I think a hard launch on a post is like out of nowhere you got married, you know? But if you're like still dating someone, do you hard launch from a post or a story? And what's your favorite type of launch?
So, yeah, I agree. So I feel like you shouldn't be hard launching in a post. I feel like if anything, your hard launch comes casually in a story, like you're at dinner or like their face just happens to be there, like very casually, like you didn't plan it. And then be one day down the line, you have like a post. But hard launches off the rip, you need to relax. My favorite launch is a medium launch because it's sneaky.
I feel like you like it because it fits your aesthetic, but okay.
Possibly.
The thing with the medium launch is you don't have to say too much with the medium launch. I think when you do a hard launch, you're expected to have a really good caption. Like you kind of got to explain why you're hard launching and who this person is, and you probably got to big them up and be like, you know, you've been there for me all this time, and you might have to tag them.
No.
I feel like you got to tag someone in a hard launch.
No. If you feel like that, that's a you thing. You don't owe anybody anything. You
Okay.
can hard launch and not say a word. That's internal, what you're feeling.
I agree. It probably is internal, but I also feel like it's I guess the expectations. I'm just saying like the majority of social media activity. You know what I'm saying? Like the majority of time when I see a hard launch, there's usually some type of sentimental explanation as to who this person is and how long this person has been in this person's life. Like a hard launch will be like these last 8 months. You know what I'm saying? Like
Like,
there's
y'all
always
are
some
doing too
timeline
much.
mentioned.
It's doing too much.
I So your medium launch, do you feel like okay, how long after dating someone do you medium launch? And how long after dating someone should you soft launch in your opinion?
That's a great question. So I feel like soft launch, if things are going okay, this is the other thing too. I feel like every relationship has a different timeline. Um, not every relationship is the same. So I feel like if you guys are, seeing each other consistently, you've decided that you're not seeing anybody else. I feel like no matter what time it is, whether it's 3 weeks, a month, 2 months, and you've established this thing together, you're okay to soft launch. Um, Medium launch,
Okay.
however, I feel like a medium launch comes with an extra bit of more security. So if you guys have talked about like we're heading in the direction of we're 100% we're gonna date, we're gonna be together, we're gonna do this, we're in this together, then you can medium launch. Again, I don't want to put timelines on things or timelines because every relationship is different. Like you can fall in love with somebody in, again, 10 days. It literally depends on how much you're seeing each other, how you're communicating. Yeah.
I imagine a situation where say I start dating a girl, right? We've been talking for a while now, we're officially boyfriend and girlfriend, right? in my mind, and maybe this is an internal thing, but if I launch it and I launch it too soon, I feel like it could give her the ick. I know it depends on the person, but who do you feel like should initiate the launch? Should it be the woman or the man in this situation?
So I feel like in this generation, women I feel like women control the pace of the relationship. Like, if a guy's coming at you,
Really? I
absolutely.
disagree.
If a guy is coming at you, he's like love bombing you, he's doing X, Y, and Z. As the woman, it's your job to set a boundary of hold the fuck on, like relax, or okay, we can continue this. You know what I mean? So I feel like the woman, if she soft launches, that's kind of the guy's cue to be like, oh, okay, like I can do this as well.
What if you're with the guy, you soft to medium launch, but he hard launches on a story without you knowing? Are you happy in that situation? Do you feel like he should have let you know first?
Honestly, it depends on the person. Like, if I don't like you and I know that I'm not going to be with you and then you do this, that's not cool. But if I like you and like we're actively like dating, then
But you're
I feel like if I like you enough, that's cool, but if I don't like you, don't do that.
but if you like someone enough to medium launch them, you should like them enough to let them hard launch you.
But like there comes a point where it's like how much of our relationship do you want to put in public? Like I'm fine with hard launching
I
in the
agree.
sense of like if you're hard launching just to hard launch for no other reason, I don't really like that. But if you're hard launching because it's my birthday or it's a special occasion or there's like a reason behind it, there's intent, amazing. But if you're literally just posting a picture of me to show everybody else that you're with me, I don't know about that. It's giving like some weird, like, I don't know.
I know what you mean. I feel like how I feel is that I feel like the woman should do more soft to medium launches, but like scattered. And then the guy should only do the hard launches on like happy birthday or like happy anniversary or like happy Mother's Day. But I
Yeah.
feel like we shouldn't be like, I feel like it's not a good look for a dude to like have all his feed just be him and his girl. You know what I'm saying? You got to show yourself doing some hobbies. You know what I'm saying? Like something else. Like it can't just be you and your girl the whole time.
Yeah. I agree. Like if you're literally hard launching just a hard launch and show the girls on your Instagram that you have a woman, bizarre. But if you're hard launching with intent, go for it.
So would you be cool with your man hypothetically never posting you?
No, because there again, like you don't have to post me all the time, but like the people need to know because it comes to
Is
a
it just to
point where
scare
like
the hoes?
not to scare the host, but it's like if and it's not even to like I don't know, it's just to show like if you're with somebody and they're a big part of your life, you're going to want to post them in some regard or another. It doesn't have to be a hard launch. It could literally be like again, you can be dating and still play the soft launch game so that you're still like saying that you're with a partner and you have a partner. Because if you're with your partner and they're actively in your life, you're going to want to just share that with somebody.
I feel you. Okay. Let me put you in a situation that back in my younger, more toxic F boy days, I used to say to girls that would want me to post them. So what if you want your man to post you and he says, I don't want anyone giving me evil eye? Like, is that a valid response?
No, because why do you care so much about external validation?
No, it's evil eye. Actually, like when people envy what you have, like if you believe in the evil eye, like when people envy what you have, things start to happen in your life that are negative. Like you start to get sick or like things start to break. You know what I'm saying? So what if You're just trying to protect that
I feel like
that
that sounds
privacy.
like I feel like that sounds like a superstition, like don't walk under a ladder or something.
It's a
And
belief. You could argue it's like a religious belief, even though it's not necessarily directly part of a religion. It's a cultural belief, you know. So it is probably a cultural superstition, but it's still very real to people. You know, like
it
even in
is.
my home, like we got the evil eyes around just to make sure, like, you know what I'm saying?
Like, I feel like you can break it down in in two parts. So there's a cultural aspect of yes, there's an evil eye, and yes, you don't want people to envy what you have and you know deteriorate it. But I think it comes down to the grand question of like, why? Why do you have this feeling of if I do this, bad things are gonna happen to me? If you get a new job, are you gonna post about it or not? If something great happens to you, are you gonna hide everything good in your life because you're scared of this evil eye? I
You
think
know,
you can
it's so
post
crazy that
something.
you say that. That's so
Why?
true. Yeah, like I feel like I sometimes there's things I could post on my story like bragging, and sometimes I do a little bit, but sometimes I avoid it because I'm like I know people are gonna like receive this in a certain way, and like wish certain energy upon me. But like I shouldn't like there's no fear necessarily. It's more just like you want to protect, like you want to keep some level of privacy until until you don't have to. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, but I feel like you can keep a certain level of privacy and be humble about things that you're proud of and things that you have in your life, and how people feel about your situation is not your responsibility.
That's true. Honestly, it has to be something you want. Like I'm not gonna lie, like I would only post like girlfriend if actually no, if I was super in love, I probably would just do it off the strength of love. But I would mostly be doing it because my girlfriend wants me to do it. Like I was in a relationship before, and like her and I didn't care, so it was never an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I
But
guess like if you want to post something, do it because you want to, not because somebody's forcing you to do it.
okay, so if you were with a dude and he was like, I don't really want to post you, like, do you feel like you'd be very upset?
I wouldn't be very upset, but part of me would be like, I don't know. Part of me would just be like cautious going forward because again, it's not even about posting at this point. It's about like, do you want people to know that you have a woman or that you have this thing in your life, I guess.
Fair. Sometimes I feel like some women do some soft launches that are a little disrespectful to men. Like they'll throw
Like,
an emoji on top of their face, or like they'll cut off their head, or like I don't
yeah,
know.
that's
I feel like yeah, that's a little mean, you know. Like the thing you were saying, like the hand or like back of the head, like that's proper. Thing is, I have a tattoo on the back of my head, so like that would pretty much be a hard launch if people saw it and knew me. You know what I'm saying?
right. No, I feel
Yeah,
like that's
so
weird because it's like you're taking a hard launch and you're trying to make it a soft launch when all you have to do is zoom in and like not put the it looks weird. Just stop.
okay, so given that, like you seem like pretty self-aware, and like you seem one who understands healing and addressing your own issues. So how has you don't have to reveal too much if you don't want to, but like how is dating for you at this point of your life?
I feel like there comes a because I am like so self-aware. I'm so healed. I
Mm.
am so good by myself. And it comes to a point where unless you're adding something to my life that I can't give myself, see you later. Um I've done the work, I've put in the hours, I have done the therapy, I have done the growth, I've done it all. I've been single for 3 years, and yeah, once you realize that you don't have to, like, take shit or you can get anything that you want, it's really hard to sit here and settle for shit that you don't deserve, and, like, in these past years, I have gotten so much love and respect for myself, and unless somebody respects and loves me more than I do myself, see you later. And I find especially, I don't know what it is, but I feel like guys walk around nowadays and they want to be treated like little princesses and they want you to hold the door open for them. They want you to pay for dates. They want you to make the plans. And I'm sorry, but as independent as I am, I love me a gender role. I will not be touching doors. My wallet will not be coming out. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean, but it's interesting because you're saying that like these days men want to be like we're like in our sassy era or whatever, like we want to be like spoiled. But I feel like that's only like dudes who are looking for some sort of like they'll see you and they'll want stability. They'll be like, oh, she can feed him, almost like a mommy type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? But like, I don't know. I personally don't like that. Like even my pride, it hurts me to like let a girl pay for me. I'd rather just stay at the crib or like buy a coffee, something I could afford. Like, if I can't afford it and a girl's like, I'll pay for it, like it's not a sexy feeling to me. Unless it's a girl that I don't really care about, then you're like, yeah, like I'm
Yes.
such a pimp. But like, if it's a girl I actually like, then I feel like ashamed, you know. So, but I think because of the economy and inflation and all that good stuff, I think men we're being forced to like, well, we can't provide, but we still want love, we still want affection, you know. And now a lot of girls are like ahead of us, you know what I'm saying? A lot of girls have better jobs than us, they drive better cars, they even have their own cribs, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes girls who also like have that need for some sort of masculine presence, whether it's like as a protector, provider, or like some just general like support and safety. Like girls want that, but they want that from the bummy guys. And next thing you know what I'm saying? He has his debit, he has your credit card in his Uber. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's on you guys.
That's on you guys, but it's
That's
also
on
on
you
you
guys.
guys. No, like sorry, it's on us if the girls are choosing the bummy men. But as
Yes.
men, if you're seeing these women being independent, getting their money up, getting their education, if you want to provide for a woman, it's on you to step up and be the provider.
Yo, I agree with you 100%. Okay. I'm actually in the middle of doing that right now. I'm trying to get money so I can eventually have a family. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should have gone into the trades. Maybe I shouldn't even be podcasting right now. Maybe this is like an overall like societal
You should be
problem that like,
welding right now.
yeah, like I should be at war or something. Like I'm out here DJing and like doing all this soft shit. And but the thing is, like I'm not gonna speak for all men because there are still dudes who like are very handy and adept at all these other things. But like I feel like my generation, we're not as good at that stuff as like the other generation. And maybe that's because we have technology, you know, we have other opportunities. So we don't have to like work a union job our whole lives. There's potential for some sort of creative industry or some sort of, I don't know, other stuff, you know. But I feel like we gotta bring back like mandatory army training, or like there has to be some course like a man camp where it's like, yo, we go there for like a month and we just learn how to like fix shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100% because I feel like I don't know, I just feel like men there's not a lot of real men these days and like women want biologically, like I don't care about what's going on in the world, but like physiologically and like biologically a feminine woman is attracted to a masculine man. Like and these women, including myself, if I'm not with the right man, my guard is up. I'm masculine. I'm taking charge because he's sitting in his feminine and I need him to take a step forward and be in his masculine. But a lot of men these days, they feel threatened because all these women are, you know, guarded because of the dynamic shift, because there's no mandatory, I don't know, military training like you mentioned. Things are just so different these days. And I feel like social media and dating apps and just the whole perspective on dating has really changed the dynamic. And it's not helping anybody at this point.
I feel you, but I will challenge you on one thing you said, because I agree with what you said that, you know, woman if a man's in his feminine, a woman's in her masculine, it creates this sort of rift, you know. And prior to, like, let's say the last 100 years, like, women were at home, domestic, just at, like, working. You know what I'm saying? No, for real. So it was easier for men to be in their masculine because they were not competing with women. Women was like, that was a separate category of life, you know. Once the dawn of, like, I guess, you know, you had cultural, like, liberation movements, education, whatever, women started working. Once, you know, men were at war, whatever, you come back, you know what I'm saying? And then with modern feminism, encouraging women to get education, to focus on their career, you know. With that being said, damn, someone just fucking knocked on the door and it threw me off. You know, I'll be there in like 2 minutes. With that, now women are more in their masculine because they're in this hyper competitive, like, mind space. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to achieve things that men achieved. So now, if a man sees a woman in her masculine, right? There's two ways. There's two ways you could deal with it. If I'm in my masculine and you're in your masculine, there might be some type of domestic violence that happens. You know what I'm saying? Like, it in true masculine form, if a woman is being combative and confrontational, and that's why we're not gonna, like, most dudes are not just gonna, like, punch a girl in the face, even though, like, the way she's coming at me is masculine. You know what I'm saying? So what do? We fall back. We accept it. We're quiet. Because we want our peace. Because we know if this girl's yelling at me like this and I match her energy, it's gonna be too chaos, too masculine energies. You know what I'm saying?
But
So
guess
does it
what?
start with?
That's not the woman for you then. And that's when you know to walk away. If a woman is in her masculine and you're sitting there fighting, that's not your woman. And it's your
Facts.
job to make that decision and to walk away. If you're sitting in there arguing with her, you're doing it to yourself at this point.
That's fair. And honestly, I've been in relationships that it was like a 50-50 relationship. I wasn't established in my life where I feel like I could lead the way I wanted to lead. I was kind of like lead as you go. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was established where I need to be. And I think a big part of that is also men not dating and committing to being a boyfriend before they have their own stuff in order. Like, I'm all for women being there for the journey, but I feel like for a man to truly be in his masculine, he has to have some type of autonomy, some type of independence, some type of self-reliability, knowing his worth, knowing his skills, some type of role in society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of these, more feminine man or backseat men, it's coming from a place of insecurity because they don't know how to handle a woman in her feminine. They don't know how to hold her. They don't know how to deal with the emotions because men are so logical. And if what a woman is telling you from her emotions doesn't make sense to a man logically, he's not gonna, it's just gonna crumble, right?
Yeah. So with about 2 minutes left here, you know, I feel like we had a good convo. We should do this again. What is your advice to men and to women about how to fix the relationship or, like, the romantic hardship that our era of Toronto people are facing right now?
For the women, I would say find the man that respects you and your boundaries and somebody that makes you feel emotionally safe and somebody that knows how to hold your heart because you will find the right person. For men, I would say when you find a good woman, if she tells you that she's going to leave after your bullshit, believe her. You know,
Mm.
this isn't the time and space to be playing games. The pickings are slim. The dating game is so hard for everybody. When you know you have a good woman sitting in front of you, don't mess that up.
Geez, that sounded like mad, like from experience type shit.
Maybe, But I just feel like there's this whole
That is
mentality.
so real. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah.
But I feel like men have this thing of, I have this amazing woman in front of me, but the grass is greener slash I'm gonna, do what I know is wrong for me. Even though I have this amazing woman in front of me, a lot of men aren't ready for this amazing woman and they self-sabotage. So I guess my main
Yeah,
piece of advice is, when you have this woman in front of you, you better buckle up and get ready to do a whole lot of learning and growing, because if you don't, you're going to forever sit there and cry about how you lost this woman.
bro, yo, you hit the nail on the. I've been through that. Yo, that's so crazy that you say that. Like in my younger years, like maybe I was like 22 or something. I'm like 28 now. There was a girl, man, and I self-sabotaged. I don't know why. It was such a perfect situation, like looking back at it. But at the time, I wasn't really, bro. I was out here. I was in uni, pushing my '01 Corolla, like balling up, doing whatever, smoking darts. Like, and I was just out with my friends, like, I was trying to be a rapper. And like,
Of
I don't know,
course.
it was so dumb. Yeah, you gotta try. You gotta try if you're from Scarborough.
You have to. It's
But
illegal.
you got it's part of the growing process. Like we might
Yeah,
not have mandatory military service, but there's mandatory studio service.
there is.
You gotta know that. Yeah, you gotta have at least a 16 bar rap before you're 25.
You have to.
Um, yeah, but that's so crazy because that's one of those situations that's like always a regret, but one of those things that like teach you when it's too late. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of
Yeah,
like you'll never make that mistake again, but you know that it's never gonna happen again. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. And I think
Yeah.
the unfortunate thing for men and women is that men learn by doing and making mistakes, and like they have to fuck up to realize shit. So I think that's like another
Yeah.
big thing too, is that like women can logically think through a situation and realize that it's not for them, but men actually have to put themselves through something to realize that it's not. You
Yo,
know?
dudes will go to jail for 5 years talking about, yeah, man, I'm done drug dealing, but it's the
No,
act that
literally.
got bagged, like I
They
don't
have
know.
to
That's
put
so true. That's
themselves
how we
through
learn.
they have to learn physically and put themselves in the scenario to realize like that it's not for them or it is for them.
Wait,
So
how do women learn again? You guys just know? Is that just an intuition thing?
intuition, emotions, and yeah, I would say so.
I think you guys do have better intuition. I don't know if you have better decision making. I think it could be close. Like you can argue. Actually, I don't know. Maybe you guys do have better decision making, and sometimes y'all
I
just
think
do what you want.
it depends what woman you're dealing with and how often she's worked on herself, to be honest. I think it's a spectrum.
Well, after speaking to you, I feel like I should go to therapy to
You should.
like.
Everybody should go to therapy. I have done the work. I've been in therapy for so long. I'm too self-aware. It's great.
I don't know. Sometimes like I don't know. The machismo in me is just like just do five. Just do push-ups. Like I feel like the therapy. Like I kind of feel like I know what to expect, but I don't realistically.
But as it's I feel like it almost takes somebody listening to you who's never met you before to look at you and say you're being an idiot to really, reset your life for you.
So you call me an idiot? What's
Just
going
something
on here?
about it. No, not you, just in general. Like
Oh,
even myself, like your therapist will look at you. They've never met you before. And they'll look at you and they'll say like you're messing this up or you're doing X, Y, and Z, and it just hits different because they don't know anything other than what you've told them.
they're truly like an outside neutral perspective. You
Yeah,
know.
it just hits different.
Feel you. All right, Ems. Where can the people find you?
So you can find me on Instagram at EMM.OHARA or on TikTok, Emily.OHAARAA. Too long to remember, but I'm there. You can find me.
I also put your little link tree in the bio over here. So
Ooh,
got
beautiful.
you.
Yeah,
The
I'm
link tree's
around.
where it's at.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm around, hanging out.
All right. All right. Well, yeah, we'll talk. You'll probably see some of these clips circulating around the web. You know, you said
Beautiful.
some pretty cool stuff.
Amazing.
And
Can't wait.
yeah. All right. Well, thank you for watching Borough Sound live stream. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, follow DJ's RTV, and shout out to Ems. And until next time.
Okay. See ya.